Well, that's a tough one to swallow, to take, because super proud of our guys' effort, how they competed. Um, I feel like they played with unbelievable resiliency, particularly in the second half. I told them in the locker room, I feel for them. I'm absolutely gutted for them because they played extremely hard. They did a lot of right things. Got to give Kent State credit. They had a couple guys that could close the game out. We did not. But I thought we looked. I thought we looked like a basketball team that was competing to win today, and really proud from that standpoint. Thought we followed a defensive game plan pretty well, and we forced them into 15 turnovers. That's a good basketball team. It's a very talented basketball team. I thought we did some things that bothered them, but we had some really silly plays. We just not very smart fouls the first half. We fouled another three-point shooter. I mean, it's got to stop. It's just got to stop. It's got to stop. And then we came out great start second half. Had some purpose. We were actually able to hit the roll guy a few times. We had some guards be able to make the pass that we weren't able to make in the first half. Put some pressure on them. From that standpoint, thought we operated pretty good there. And then Mason hit a big three to cut it to one, just under 5 minutes, I believe. And it's a 1-point game, and we turn it over, take a poor shot, miss a point-blank layup, turn it over again. That led to a basket for them. So we had those possessions, 1-point game. And 2 turnovers, bad shot, and a missed point-blank layup. And then they scored, went a different direction, got fouled, went 1 for 2, stayed with it, missed a layup, went a different direction, down 4, turnover. And they went to Whaley, and he closed the game out. We hadn't let him go baseline all game because where our trap was coming from. Let him go baseline, bucket or foul, I forget which one. He got fouled on another one. And then who hit the dagger 3? Was it Medley? Medley. Yeah, Medley hit a dagger 3. So, and then and it's never like it's always there's a culmination of plays throughout the game that puts you in that situation. But I just really feel for the guys because they were there. They played. I thought they competed really hard. I'm not going to say we played harder than they. Like, how do you judge that? But I thought we played and competed really well. Just weren't able to make the plays there. Sorry, that's a long overview.
You're good, Coach. What does that say about this team, though, to play a Kent State team who's looked very good this season, the position you guys are in, and take them down to the wire? What does that say?
Yeah, it says what I've talked about all year. Like we got we got unbelievable guys, and that's why you want to get the results for them, right? Like they're fighting their ass off. Right? There's a lot of things that aren't in their control, right? And they're fighting their ass off, and to be able to put yourself in that position, they had to do a lot of things right. And you're going to go back and look at the film and the silly things, and but to be in a position like that, and then like I said, turnover, bad shot, point blank layup, turnover, 1 for 2 from the line, point blank layup, turnover. and they're all things that we do. It wasn't anything new that we drew up. So, we're not great with some of that stuff. So you try to do something, you try to go to things that you have in your package that you're comfortable with in those situations. And it was there. It was there, and we just unable to make the play. And so you feel awful for them because you know the work that they do, you know the work that they put in. And to give that type of effort and not be able to win, you feel for them.
Yeah, you mentioned the intensity coming out of the second half. What was the message to the team there? Because right out of the second half, a couple steals, some free throw trips with Copeland right away. So what was the message to the team?
I thought, we fouled Mason fouled a 3-point shooter for like the 17th time in his career. Like, it's got to stop. We fouled another kid and gave him free throws. That was silly on a drive that just sent him to the free throw line that gave him points. We gambled on a pass 94 feet from the basket. You can't do that. Like, it has to be 100% play. You can't do that because you fall down and go out of bounds, and they come down and they hit a three. Like, it's the basketball gods. They're real. They punish bad plays. Like, you can't do that. And the number of times that we've drilled that, and you get caught up in a situation, you make a play, and so we were down 9, and we felt like there was 9 or 10 points that we just we didn't make them earn. And when you're playing good quality opponents like Kent State, like, you have to make them earn everything they get. You can't just give them points on a platter. And I just felt like, so the message was like, hey, let's clean this up. These silly things, like boom, 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 like, all right, and we're right in this thing. It's a few possession game. Let's go make an impact. Be aggressive. I thought offensively, we were very timid. I thought there was guys wide open on rolls and in the paint, and we were just reluctant to pass the ball. We've talked about that all year. You got to trust your ability to make that play, to be aggressive. If we're going to get beat, empty the gun, right? And I thought we passed the ball to some roll. We made some plays a little bit better in in those situations the second half. And then it got time where we had to deliver to win a game, and we just couldn't do it.
You talk about silly mistakes. How do you clean silly mistakes up?
Well, I've asked them, like, hey, how many times do I have to tell you to do X? Like, whatever. Like, if it's one time, if it's 962 times, tell me the number, and I'll go hit the number so we can get past it. But a lot of it's habits, right? A lot of it is just habits, and then the toughness, the mental toughness, the mental discipline to do it when the game's on the line. That's a different level, right? And we just haven't shown the ability to do that consistently enough. And you're trying to break habits of what guys have done for some time, and it's not easy. It's not easy, or maybe they weren't taught at a young age, what that does. Like a gamble, like your aunt, or your buddy's like, oh man, he played, well, look at that hustle, he dove out of it. Like, no, you just gave up a 3 on the other end. You gave up a 5-on-4 break, going for a steal 94 feet from the basket. You're not going to get that very often at playing this level of basketball. Like, you might pull that off in Yorktown Y, right, on a Sunday morning in 3rd grade, but you're not going to get that in a high-level Division I game against Kent State. So against Kent State, you go and lunge through a passing lane and you fall out of bounds, and they come down and pass, bang, 3. Take those. That's what they do. And so just getting people to correct those habits, it takes time. It takes time and takes repetition, and then you just got to understand the game of basketball.
What's kind of the message going for Tuesday? You've already beaten Ohio once, but on Tuesday you get down to Athens. You guys have a little more confidence because you beat them before, or what is kind of the message going down?
Well, the message is you have a game on Tuesday night. You get an opportunity to wear a uniform with Ball State on it. You go down and you compete. Whether it's I don't care who we're playing, what day we're playing, where we're playing. Like, you get an opportunity to represent this university, this program, this community. You're very grateful for that opportunity, and you go down and play. Like, we should have some confidence. We did a lot of good things today. They played their ass off. it should hurt. Like if it doesn't burn in their stomach right now, then they seriously need to look at something, a different profession, because this profession is not for them. But I know what we got in that locker room, and it burns. They may not quite understand some of the ramifications of some of the mistakes that we make that continue to build up, just because they're still learning the game. But they should have some confidence for how they played. I thought we played really well against Ohio. You know, I think they're probably going to be, I think we have their attention. You know, they had a tough one last night on the road. They got an extra day to get back home. And they're well coached. They'll be ready. We're going to have to go out there. Game one doesn't matter. Like what we did there doesn't matter. You know, we're going to have to do some things differently to combat what they're going to bring our way. And we're going to have to go out and compete. It's going to take a very similar effort to tonight. And then we got to improve in some of those areas that I've talked about.
Davion said he felt there were a few plays where maybe you guys overpassed the ball tonight. Do you think there were a few plays that proved that?
There might have been. Yeah, I mean, I know what he said. Like that's why I was talking about. Like, I thought we were timid in some areas, right? You know, and you know that's what I said at halftime. We got to be aggressive. You got to make the right play. You know, but there's a fine line, and you know, you get out there and you're in those situations. You got to make the plays, and you know, for a guy like him, he's delivered on a few occasions. Tonight, it just wasn't able to. He'll learn. He'll learn. He's a young player. He's got a bright future. You know, you gotta. Unfortunately, like you have to be in those situations and normally fail to be able to consistently succeed in those type of environments. And he's just a young player going through it. And if we're in the situation again on Tuesday, I'm gonna put the ball right back in his hands.
I guess I'll just start with, you know, last game you guys were here, and we talked about, you know, each game having a weight, especially at the end of the season. When a loss like that happens with so many few games left, what does that do to a team's mindset, maybe the atmosphere?
I started. I mean, yeah, it's heartbreaking, you know, to go out. You know, we had it close again, but you know, we got a game on Tuesday, so we can't let it. You can't dwell on the past. We got to move forward and just go hard to practice tomorrow.
Yeah, it's disappointing. You know, I don't think we gave up in that game. So, you know, just fighting that hard, coming back, you know, not being able to close out, like Juan said, it's heartbreaking. But the games are going so fast, it's just like we can't even dwell on it. We got to get to practice tomorrow and, you know, move on.
Kind of what was said in that locker room, you know, going into the second half, you guys had, you know, I think 7 steals. So kind of what, you know, was the message defensively?
You know, second half we on defense, we on their side now. So coach just emphasized like now we got to keep up the defense because they're not gonna be able to help us for real. And you know, like we executed the game plan. You know, double team the bigs. So it's like keep doing what we were doing right, but try to add on some stuff.
Yeah, just over communicating, you know, on that. Like Juan said, we're alone. I think we executed the game plan too. It's just, you know, they got some bulldogs over there, you know, in the paint. So yeah, we just came out on the wrong side today.
Davion, you said that a minute ago. You said you felt like you guys didn't quit in this game, and you know, looking at Kent State, who's a very good team, top 3 in the MAC. What does that say about this team when you guys can put it together? What can this team do?
To me, anything. Like we just showing our fight right there with a team, like you said, top 3 in our league is just like obviously our season's been up and down, but haven't been able to, you know, really get, you know, a consistent, like, you know, like we haven't been able to roll consistently, but it says a lot about us, our fight, you know, if we can clean up those little things, you know, the key things that we've been not able to, you know, execute, I think we can, yeah.
Yeah, and like you said, the season's been going up and down. With just a couple more games going, how do you guys want to end the season off, you know, the strongest note? What would that look like for you guys?
We're just trying to win, you know, just put our best foot forward and, you know, be together and try to come out with wins, and hopefully, you know, we'll whatever happens at the end, we'll decide itself.
Yeah, like what Davion said, we fighting for that spot, 4th spot in the playoffs. You know, like you said, Kent State's top 3, and we competed with them. You you know, we got a good team. We just gotta fight within. Just keep getting closer together. Keep watching film. Keep doing the little things, and you know, play every game like it's our last. Because honestly, it's my last. It's our last for real. So we want to make it to the playoffs. We ain't coming for nothing. So.
Coach talked about after last game that you guys struggled to pass the ball a little bit.
Yeah.
And I feel like tonight there were a few plays down the stretch going into the end of the game that the passing looked great.
Yeah.
What have you guys been working on in that game alone to be better at passing the ball?
I mean, even like when we do shooting drills, coaches like Coach Buzz and all the coaches really like focus on passing because it's important how a player catches the ball, and also entering in the post. You know where to pass it. You know we do that a lot in practice, even if it's just 5-on-0, 3-on-0, left hand pass, right hand pass. We do it all the time in practice, so we know what to do. We just, you know, we execute it this time.
Yeah, passing has been something we highlighted, have been highlighting in practice. I feel like tonight there was times where we overpassed. Sometimes we, you know, passed up an open shot to, you know, pass it again. So I think that's just us working on it in practice. Yeah.